Silence Audio presents the unabridged recording of It Had to Be Them by Tamra Baumann, performed by Kate Rudd. This book is dedicated to Matt and Tracy, who I love even more than chocolate. You make me so proud to be your mom. Chapter 1. A hypochondriac could be a doctor's worst nightmare, but Ben Anderson had reason to be particularly fond of the one sitting on the padded exam table in front of him. She was the mother of the only woman he'd ever loved. He'd run every test he could think of on Kline Grant's mother, but could find nothing wrong with her. She'd developed a new dire illness every Monday for the last 6 weeks, and today was no exception. He was tempted to borrow her phone and delete her WebMD app. "I have just the thing you need." He grabbed a small bottle of vitamins from his white lab coat and handed it to her. "Take one every morning for a month, and you'll be good as new." Mrs. Grant flipped her glasses to the top of her gray-haired head and frowned at the label he'd had his nurse, Joyce, dummy up for him. "What is this?" "It's a new miracle drug and perfectly safe." He laid a hand on her shoulder. "You trust me, right?" She lifted her chin and smiled at him. "You know I do, Ben. Did I mention Kline is finally coming home?" Her words were a punch to his gut. It had been over 10 years since Kline had been back. "No, you hadn't mentioned that." He looked away from her curious eyes and busied himself with notes in her chart while his system settled. "I told her I wasn't well enough to travel all over the darn world to visit wherever she's teaching now, like I have in the past." Tahiti, last he'd heard. Kline had wanted out of Anderson Butte so badly, and had lived in 4 other cities and 3 countries since their breakup. Not that he kept track of her or anything. "You're well enough to travel if you want. Sand, blue water, and warm weather might do you good." Of course, that made him think of Kline in a bikini, damn it. Mrs. Grant waved her hand. "Oh, she's done with that job. It was only temporary. I told her we desperately need a science teacher here while her cousin takes maternity leave soon, but you know Kline. Itchy feet. No way she'd ever come back to live in this one-stoplight town. Blah, blah."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?